Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day it is. I hope you're excited to practice some yoga with me. Today I have I'm guessing a 45 minutes or an hour yoga class. You can always hold Shavasana longer. Our intention is to be here. We'll start off in a seated meditation, and I can let you know if you are going to use a playlist that I provided in the area below. I don't know. Then I can let you know when it's a good time to start the music and put on your associated music. So let's start off in seated easy pose. Close your eyes. Let your day go. You may just be starting your day. You may be partway through it. You may be ending your day. Take a big breath in, filling up your chest and your stomach, and exhale it all out. Releasing any tension, any worries, any concerns, anything that'll stop you from being here on your mat. Let it go. You can come back to it in another 45 minutes to an hour. It'll still be there. We'll start to take big inhales, filling up our chest and our belly, and exhaling it out. Take another big breath in, and then exhale it out. Another one. Take another big breath in, and exhale, release. Slowly return to your normal breath. It might be in through your nose and out through your nose. It might be in through your nose and out through your mouth. If you don't routinely breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, I suggest giving it a try. This will help keep you calm. This will help keep your movements controlled. When we start to exhale and breathe out, we start to lose control and not always have the focus on what our breath is doing and what it's guiding us to. Take another few breaths in, grounding yourself on the mat. And then keeping your eyes shut. Inhale your arms overhead, and exhale, bring them down to your sides. Take a breath in, and take a breath out. And we'll repeat that. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, release your arms to your sides. Pause here to breathe. One more time, reaching your arms overhead. Exhale, release. Taking a breath in, and take a breath out. Inhale your arms overhead. This time plant your right arm to the mat and reach your left arm up and over. Reaching and stretching over to the side wall. Come back through center. Reach your left palm down to the mat. Reach your right arm up and over. Reaching and stretching towards that side wall. And come back through center. We'll repeat it. This time you might be able to reach further, reach longer. Try not to roll your shoulder forward. Try to pull your shoulder back and reach through to the wall. Keeping yourself aligned, you might look up towards the ceiling or down to the ground. This might help stretch out your neck more. Come back through center. Plant the left palm down, reach the right arm up and over. Inhale in, exhale it out, and come back to center. This time we'll twist. Bring our right arm behind our back and our left palm to our right knee. Inhale, use your breath to twist. Using each breath to guide yourself a little more to the other side of the room. You're never pulling or cranking. Your hands are light to touch at your knee and supporting you only from behind. One more breath. Release. Reach your arms overhead. Exhale. Twist to the other side. Using your breath to guide your movements. Reach your arms overhead. Your arms back down. We'll twist one more time. Reach your arms up. Bring them to twist. Release, coming back through center. We'll do another stretch. We'll stretch out our tricep. We'll bring our right hand towards the center of our back and our left hand to our right elbow. Reaching down. You might be able to lay your head into your arms and rock from side to side. Release, reaching your arms right straight up into the air and roll your wrist, pump your fists, and we'll switch. Left palm down the center of our spine, right palm to our left elbow. Then release. Roll your wrist, pump your fists. We'll do it again. Right side, tricep stretch. Now that you're revisiting, maybe you're more comfortable rocking from side to side or laying your head back into your arms. Release, roll your wrists, pump your fists. And the other side. No two sides are the same. You never have to repeat what you did. This side might feel more comfortable to rock from side to side in, or it might not. Just listen to your body. Be here in this moment. Release, roll your wrists, pump your fists, and bring your palms to your knees. We'll do some seated cat-cow variation. So just opening up the chest, waking up the spine, repeating the same motion that you would if you were in tabletop. So we'll inhale, bring your chest forward, and exhale, pulling back. You can use your hands to help pull you forward and help support you on your way back as you press them into your knees. Return to neutral spine. We'll move into tabletop. Making sure our shoulders are over our wrists, our hips are over our knees, belly button's up and in. We have a neutral spine. Our head, neck, and shoulders are in alignment. Bringing your left hand to your left ear. We'll bring our elbow into our wrist and rotate up. Repeat this, using your breath to help guide you. Your inhales and your exhales never have to be perfect. They just have to help you move. release your palm to the mat. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. Bring your hand to our ear. Bring our elbow to our wrist. And open back up towards the back wall. Elbow, wrist. Up. One last time. Bring your palm to the mat. Reach your right leg back. Flex the toes, plant them on the mat, and start to rock forward and back. Stretching out that heel, your calf. Starting to bring some heat into your leg. The next time you're back, stay back, hold. Feel the stretch up through the back of your leg. Return so that way your hips are over your knees. Reach, lift the right leg into the air. Bring your knee to your nose. And release. Knee to nose. Release. Knee to nose. Release. One last time. And bring your knee back down to the mat. Let's do the same thing on the opposite side. Reach your leg back, flex your toes, begin to rock forward and backward. Stretching out your leg, your heel, your calf. Bring some heat into your legs. We just sat for a little while. Next time you're back, stay back. Hold. Feel that stretch up the back of your leg. Return so that way your hips are over your knees. Bring your knee into your nose. Once. Twice. 3 times. And once more. 4. Return to tabletop. Next, we'll move into fire hydrants. So you'll lift your knee so that way it is 90 degrees to the side and bring it back in. Lift and lower. Lift, lower. Make sure to flex your foot, trying your best to not switch your body weight too much and lean into that right side. One more time. And release. Take a breath in tabletop. Do that on the opposite side. Lifting your knee off the mat. 90 degrees. Flex your foot. Bring it down and up. Down. Up. Down. Up. One more time. Bring your knee down to the mat. And now we'll do our traditional cats and cows. Inhale, your belly lowers towards the mat. You lift your head and neck towards the sky. Exhale, belly button up and in for arching. You never have to just move in one plane. If you want, you can add in C curves, letting your body and your breath guide your movements. You might come all the way back into child's pose on one of your breaths. Come all the way through into up dog. You may stay just right where you are. Cat and cow. Be here. Let your breath guide you. One more time. Before we sink back into child's pose. Letting our head massage into the mat by rocking from side to side. Slowly walk or crawl your fingertips to an edge of the mat, placing the palm that is inside on top, the outside palm, and pulling the further hip towards the mat. Walk or crawl your fingertips to the other side of the mat, placing the inside palm on top of the other hand, and reaching that same side hip that the palm's on top of your hand towards the mat. Walk or crawl your fingers back to center and start to reach with your fingertips as far as you can, crawling them forward, seeing if you can reach further. And then release. And back through to tabletop. And we'll reach our left arm into the air and thread the needle. You can sit back into child's pose as you do this. You can stay up, over top. If you're here and want to add on, you can always add the bind, reaching your arm up, back and around with your hand, reaching towards your opposite hip. And then release. Coming back to tabletop. Reach your arm to the sky, thread it back through on the opposite side. Just trying to trick you there. And you can stay in tabletop, sit back into child's pose. You can use this to kind of add body weight to the shoulder, or you can open up and bind. And release. Returning to tabletop. From here, we'll curl our toes and lift our hips for the first downward facing dog of the practice. Pedaling out our hips, our feet, so that way we can open up our hips. Making sure our press into our fingertips and palms fully, so that way some weight is carried through the hands. Step to the top for now, and hang in ragdoll. Making sure that your belly is resting on your thighs and trying to pull your weight as much as you can down to the mat. You don't want to hold on to anything here. Inhale, press your palms to your shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach your arms to the sky. And fold back down. Halfway lift. Plant your palms and step back into high plank. Lower yourself to the mat, being knees, chest, chin. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Hold. Reach up for cobra. And release. Repeating that, making sure to press into the tops of our feet. Reach up for cobra. Come back down. One more time. Reach up, cobra. And then come back down. Curl your toes, press up into tabletop, and then downward facing dog. Bend your knees, hop or step to the front edge of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, rise. Your palms to your sides. So a modified vinyasa is what we just did there, some additional cobras. Anytime I say vinyasa, you can feel free to just do a knees, chest, chin, cobra, downward facing dog, or if you're more confident, more familiar, we're about to do a full vinyasa, which is a chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. If at any point, anytime during any of our practices that this all feels like too much, skip it and move straight into downward facing dog. We'll inhale our arms to the sky, forward fold, halfway lift, plant the palms to the mat, step back into high plank. From here, you can lower yourself either via knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog, or cobra, and then downward facing dog. Bend your knees, hopper step to top of the mat, halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, rise, forward fold, halfway lift, plant the palms to the mat, step back into high plank, and lower yourself all the way to the mat. From here, we'll get in just a little bit of core work and a little bit of additional hip stretch to just get those a little bit more warmed up before we move into our flows. So, to start off, we'll do Supermans, which you will use your breath to lift your upper body off of the ground and bring your elbows back to cactus. Return and lower. For this particular posture, I want you to keep your feet on the mat. Sometimes with Supermans, you do lift all the way up, but in this case, we'll lift, cactus, Superman, lower. Do that 3 more times. Great work. At this point, if you don't have your music on, you can have your music on. You could actually have started it when we did our first modified Sun A. I forgot to tell you. So, from here, we are just going to do Superman again, but this time only our legs. So, using your breath, you're going to lift your hips off of the ground. You want to rest your head on your palms. You stack your palms. So, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And one more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. From here, we will spice this up. And rather than doing a full Superman, we're actually going to do bow. So here, you'll have your right side we'll start with. Kick your right heel into your right glute and use your right hand to grab your foot. If you can't do that, you can always add a strap or just kind of mimic it by keeping everything together. When you have a hold of your foot and you have your palm, you're going to inhale and lift everything up and just kind of hold here and rock a little. And then lower, release. We'll repeat that 2 more times. And inhale, lift. Release. One more time. Inhale, lift. Lifting as far as you can, as much as you can. Trying to lift a little higher. Bring your chest a little more. And lower. Release your foot. Bring your hand back to the top of your mat. Do that on the other side. So kick your left heel, left glute, left hand grabs your foot. And take a big breath. Release. Then inhale, rise. Exhale, lift, lower. Inhale, rise. Trying to lift yourself a little bit higher each time. Exhale, lower. And one more time. Lifting as high as you can, as much as you can. And then we release. Releasing that all. Press back up into plank. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, hopper step to the front edge of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise. And sit back into chair. Try to keep your knees over your ankles and see if you can sit a little deeper. Belly button up and in, tucking your hips under. Bring your hands and to palms to your chest, and we'll twist to one side. Trying to get our elbow outside of our knee without knocking our knees too far apart, shifting our hips, using our breath to turn just a little bit more. Inhale your arms to the sky. Exhale, sit back into chair. Again, belly button up and in, palms of prayer. We'll twist to the opposite side. Try not to knock our knees too far apart, our hips. Try to get our hands so that way they're centered on our chest. Using each breath to twist a little deeper, sit our hips a little lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sit back in a chair. Forward fold, halfway lift, bend our palms to the mat. Step back into high plank and vinyasa. Inhale your right leg to the sky. Bring your knee to nose. Step through. Set your feet up for warrior one. Inhale to the sky. Making sure to square off your hips as best you can before you put your body back down. Step your right foot to meet your left. And vinyasa. Inhale your left leg to the sky. Bring your knee to nose. Step it through. Setting our feet up for warrior one. We inhale, rise. Making sure to square our hips. Bring our palms back down to the mat. Set the left foot to meet the right. And we'll vinyasa again. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, hopper step to the front edge of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair. Feel that heat, welcome that heat. Keep your belly button up and in, and stand. Bring your palms to your sides. We'll move into eagle arms. So from your mountain pose, reach your arms out wide and pick a side. I'm going to start here. This is technically my right. And I'm going to bring this right arm underneath my left and make eagle arms. You might not be able to do this. You might have to grab each shoulder, but whatever it is, try to grab this. Try to set yourself up for an eagle. And then we'll bring elbows towards our belly button. Then inhale towards the sky. Exhale, bring your elbows towards your belly button. Inhale, bring them to the sky. Return and release. It's kind of like a cat and cow. We did those when we were seated. I did those on tabletop. Now we're doing them with our arms in the air. So we'll do the opposite side. This is my left hand, bring them underneath. If this side doesn't work as well, do it this way, this time. They don't have to be perfect. I'll show this way for the opposite side. So your elbows are stacked and you'll exhale, bring them towards your belly button Inhale, bring them to the sky. Exhale, bring them towards your belly button. Inhale to the sky. Return to neutral and release. Great work. We're going to revisit chair. Sit back into chair. Bring your palms to center. You'll bring your elbow outside of your knee. Trying to hold, twist, making sure your knees stay together. And if you can from here, you're gonna lift the foot you're not pressing your elbow into, that leg. And you're gonna step that back into a lunge. You might need to step it back in baby steps. You might not be able to hold this. Do whatever works best for you and be here. From your lunge, you'll lower your knee down to the mat. Moving in to Anja Asana. So hips squared, arms to the sky. We'll start to sink into our hips and back bend, reaching through our fingertips. Exhale. Bring your palms to the mat inside of your foot for lizard. Take a few breaths here, holding this position. From here, you might be able to add on rolling onto the pinky edge side of your foot, allowing yourself to massage and open up. You'll be able to reach your arm back, grab your foot for the bind. Wherever you are, take 4 more breaths. And release slowly. Bring your foot so that way it is inside of your palms. Curl your back toes, lift the knee, step back to high plank. And you guessed it, vinyasa. At any point, if you don't want to do a vinyasa, go immediately into downward facing dog. Don't feel bad about it. Accept what your body needs and do it. Be there for it. Bend your knees, step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise. And sit back into chair. Other side down. Going to bring your elbow outside of your knee. And you're twisting. You're trying to get your palms in the center of your chest, keeping your knees straight and not having them stacked weird. The leg that's not currently connected to your elbow, you want to lift the heel and step back for a lunge. You can always baby step this back. You can undo the bind. Whatever it is, do what's best for you and lower your knee to the mat. Inhale your arms to the sky. Square your hips to prepare for Anja Asana. Sinking down and arching your back. Bring your palms inside of your foot. You might have to heel toe your foot a little wider and move into lizard. Letting yourself settle here, sink in. When you feel ready, you might be able to add on, rolling onto the pinky edge side of your foot, massaging that knee open. You might also be able to add the bind by reaching that arm back to grab the foot. Whatever works best for you. Again, I've said it multiple times, but one side might be completely different than the other. You might not be able to bind it all, or You might be able to do the craziest bind. Whatever it is, accept where you are and know that maybe someday you'll be even, or maybe you won't. And either way, it's okay. You showed up and you're practicing today. Release with control. Heel to your foot in between your palms. Lift the back toes, lift the knee, or curl the back toes, lift the knee, and vinyasa. Bend your knees, upper step to the front edge of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, rise for mountain. So the last time we finished both sides, we did eagle arms. This time we're gonna do eagle legs to prep our legs for it. And then if you guessed correctly, we'll do another flow and get into eagle itself. So I'm gonna start by putting my weight into this leg, fully pressing. And then this leg, I'm going to try to wrap it around so that way my toes are on the inside of my calf. Right now I have it. I might not continue to have it though as I start to sit my hips back. So if you only get one rep, that's completely okay. You're doing eagle legs. So we'll take a breath here, see if we can sink a little deeper. One more breath, sink a little deeper. And rise up and release. Shake your legs out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Taking this leg, planting firmly into the ground. We'll take this one and wrap it around. This side, I already can see, is not as open as the other side. So I'm only gonna be able to make it to here, and that's okay. We'll sink down. Allow ourselves to lower with control, keeping our legs wrapped. Inhale, sink a little deeper. And inhale, rise. Release. Shake out your legs. Great work. You're now fully prepped and ready for a full eagle after we do another flow. So, bet you can guess where we're going, and that is chair. Belly button up and in. Bring your hands to heart center. And we'll twist to bring our arm outside of our knee. Trying our best to get our hands so that way they're centered on our chest, using our breath to twist a little deeper. The leg that is not connected to our elbow will lift the heel and step back into high lunge. From this high lunge, from this lunge, we'll move in to high lunge. Bring your arms behind our back, head on and do a bind, and move into humble warrior, or humble. Well, first, we're gonna plant our foot down, so we're warrior 1 feet, and then we'll move into humble warrior. Want to make sure you have your base prepped appropriately. You want to have your elbow, shoulder, and your knee connected. Your head's not touching the ground. Inhale, we'll rise. Release the bind. Move back into high lunge. Bring your palms to the mat. Step back into high plank. And then we'll vinyasa. Bend your knees. Hopper step to the front edge of the mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, rise. Exhale, sit back into chair. Tuck your hips, belly button up and in, palms to heart center, and we'll twist to that opposite side. Try to bring our hands to our heart center. The foot or the leg that is not connected to your elbow, you lift the heel of that foot and step back for a lunge. Always taking baby steps if you need, releasing Twist if you need. And then we'll inhale, rise for high lunge. We'll sink a little deeper, making sure to keep our hips square. We'll move our feet so that we're in warrior one. We'll bring our arms behind our back to bind. And then we'll move into humble warrior. Shoulder and knee connected. Head reaching towards the toes. Head not touching the ground. Making sure to activate our thighs to help us maintain our balance. Inhale, rise. Move back into high lunge. Bring your palms to the mat. Step back and vinyasa. And bend your knees. Step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Inhale, rise. Mountain. Now it's time for eagle. We've prepped our arms, we've prepped our legs. Now we'll bring it all together. So, stretch your arms out wide. This hand, pick a side, bring that underneath. And then the same side, we'll wrap the leg, or wrap the leg around the other leg. And we'll sink down. You want to try to have center alignment with your knee and your elbow, with your belly button and your nose. Find your drishti, or your spot to hold your gaze, allow you to hold this position. Take a big breath in, sink down. One more time, big breath in, and sink. Rise up and release. Great work. Shake that out. From this mountain pose, we'll stand, we'll get our grounding, we'll be here, and we'll do the other side. So take this opposite hand, bring it underneath. If at any point you can't do it, there's always this one. Remember this one. Take it off leg, reach the knee up as high as you can, and then wrap it around. Take a big breath in, and sink and sit back in your chair. Trying to maintain alignment with your knee, elbow, and belly button. Take a deep breath and sink. One last time, take a deep breath and sink. And release. Might have done that with more control than I did, but either way it works. We have one last flow, then we'll move into some nice hip opening stretches. This is really culminating where we got to. Your shoulders and upper body should be nice and open. So, one last time, we'll sit back into chair. Bring our hands to heart center and we'll twist our chair. You've been here, you know this. I bet you know where we're going next. We're gonna lift that back foot and step back into lunge. And hold here. This is where we're gonna add on and do something different. Rather than lowering our knee or moving into high lunge, we're gonna try to revolve this. Well, we are revolved. We're going to do a bind from here. So, I'm gonna reach the top arm back and around, bottom arm through your legs. And if you can, you're gonna interlace your fingers. If you can't do that, you can keep this hand here and bring this arm around. And that's the bind. Hold here for one more breath. And then release and rise up for high lunge. We'll open ourselves up into warrior two and we'll exalt our warrior. Using our breath, we'll move into side angle, forearm to thigh, hand to the sky. And then warrior two. Cartwheel your palms to frame your foot. Step back, and second to last vinyasa. You got this. You're great. a big breath here. Exhale out of your mouth. Bend your knees, hop or step to the top edge of your mat. Halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, rise. And chair. Your last chair, your final chair. The best chair you've done all day. Tuck your hips, belly button up and in. Bring that elbow so it's outside of your knee. Have your palms as best you can at heart center. That back leg, you'll lift the heel, step back into a lunge. We are going to keep this revolved lunge, but add a bind. So you're able to reach that arm back and around, the bottom arm through your legs, and release those fingers. You might not have that. Do the same thing you did on the opposite side, where you just reach that top arm around your back. One more breath. And then release. Opening up into warrior two. Take a breath, sink a little deeper, and we'll exalt our warrior. Using a breath, move into side angle. Forearm to thigh, hand to the sky. And warrior two. Cartwheel your palms to frame the foot. Step the right foot to meet the left and do your last vinyasa. Chaturanga, up dog, downward facing dog. Great work. From here, lift your right leg to the sky and we'll move into pigeon. So you want your right foot behind your left wrist. And your right knee as best you can behind your right wrist and sink back. You want to try to keep your hips in alignment and your leg is straight back, not kind of curving in. You'll lift up here. Then using your breath, you might be able to sink deeper. You might stay here. You might be able to collapse fully. But we'll be here for 10 breaths. So let yourself fall, at least, and let yourself go into this pose. Fall into it. Gracefully. Don't just collapse in, just let yourself be here on the mat and in. If you're finding that you're having trouble here, you can always move into 90-90 legs, which is still maintaining this front leg, but you're bringing your back leg, so that way this is also in a 90-degree angle. So you have a 90 here and a 90 here, and then you can, for yourself, move forward. Slowly begin to rise back up. You press your palms into the mat. You may have to move to the tabletop to do this, but you'll step back to high plank and go back to downward facing dog. Pedaling out those feet. Maybe opening up your hips if you need it before we prepare for the other side. Lifting left leg to the sky, bring your knee to your wrist, foot to an ankle, and we'll sit back into pigeon. This side might have more room, so you might be able to hold this pigeon. You might have less. If it has less, use that 90-90 option. Again, we'll hold for at least 10 breaths. Slowly begin to rise back up. You may have to move to 90-90, then tabletop. But you'll move into downward facing dog. Just allow yourself to pedal out the feet. Maybe stretch out your hips. Before bending your knees, hopping or stepping to the front of the mat. And sitting down. We'll lay down onto our back. And move into reclined pigeon. So reaching this leg, whichever leg, to the sky, and then bringing that ankle so that way it's over the knee. So you have sort of a figure 4 setup. You'll bring your hands in between your legs and interlace them behind the thigh for a reclined pigeon. Maybe able to, or you may want to press your elbow into your thigh while using your ankle that's on your knee to press that forward. So you're kind of creating structure and push-pull as you're holding this position. Release the arms, but maintain the legs. Bringing your foot to the mat, you'll then rotate your hips so that way this shape falls to the outside edge. You can have your arms overhead, arms down by your side, out to a T, or pressing onto your leg. We'll open up that outside of the hip. And then release. Coming back, putting both feet on the mat, and windshield wipering the knees back and forth. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So, whichever leg you didn't have in the air to start off with, we'll go into reclined pigeon. Making sure our ankle crosses over by our knee. We reach our hands through to grab behind our thigh. Elbow can press into the other thigh, And your foot can press into the front wall, creating juxtaposition. Release the arms. Bring this foot that's pressing the front wall back down to the mat. And then turn your hips so that way this top foot faces itself on the mat. Hands can be overhead, out to a T at your sides, or pressing into that thumb. We'll hold here. Each one of these holds is about 10 breaths. Stretching out the body. Get yourself cool down a little bit. And release. Bring your foot back down to the mat. Bring the other foot back down to the mat. Windshield wiper. Knees. We'll bring our knees so that we create a 90-degree angle. And bring your arms either out to cactus or to a T. We'll drop the knees down to the mat. This hand can be used to hold down your legs. But you want to do your best to keep your shoulders flat to the mat. So if none of this, if you're out here and you don't want to force anything. Just try to maintain that stretch through your side body. You should feel that in the twist. I know that I do. Move back through center. We'll twist to the other side. Then our knees come to the mat. We'll use this hand to hold down the top leg. Move back through center. Reach your legs to the sky. We'll do legs up the walk. You might use a block or your hands to help prop yourself. So it's just kind of let gravity do the work. If you have shoulder stand or plow in your practice, you might add on to that. But we'll just leave our legs to the sky and take 10 more breaths here. before we slowly release down into Savasana. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Close your eyes and just breathe. Let your practice wash over you. Thank yourself for being here, for putting in the work, for taking the time to let yourself breathe and stretch. This was an hour-long class. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I look forward to our next time together, and thank you for being here.